Today we get practical on Anapanasati. We'll do it. And you can see how it should be done. I mean, we have spoken this for long, but considering that I would demonstrate, that would be a good thing, especially considering that people are coming today here and in a month from now would be in US have this. So first thing first is that how do we breathe? So we breathe shallow in general. Okay, so the first aspect is to know there is breath. So sato va asasati, sato va pasasati. That means have a knowledge, have a awareness, mindfulness, whatever we would call it, that there is breath. Okay. And it is limited. It's not unlimited. You don't breathe unlimitedly. You breathe limited. Now, when I see I'm breathing limited, I'm dependent on an external object, which is air, which has oxygen. Right? So basically, it's not mine. Now I'm coming into the Buddha Dhamma itself. It's not mine. Anatta. Right? Can't be mine. So can I use it in a better way? I think yes. So can I be on that? Leaving everything out. Not about 1 hour, not about 2 hours, not about 3 hours. All the 18 waking hours. Can I be on that? Everywhere we see mindfulness meditation using breath is 1 hour, 15 minutes, half an hour. If you look at Apple Watch, you have 5 minutes mindfulness. It also says the same thing, in breath, out breath. But do we know how to breathe? That's a key question. So the actual way of breathing is what Buddha explains, and in medicine or in science or terms, it's diaphragmic breathing. You're breathing through diaphragm. That is, you are using parasympathetic nervous system as opposed to a sympathetic nervous system. If I use the breathing in sympathetic, it becomes shallow and rough. And hence, the neurochemical which is getting into my stream through brain is epinephrine, norepinephrine, and then adrenaline and all of that. So having known that this is what is happening, can I change into this? Okay. So generally we breathe through chest. Generally, everyone. The chest goes up, down, up, down, up, down. Very fast. Not as fast as an animal, but fast. Why do we have a fast response? We have a fast response because of fight and flight situation. It's not that anybody is going to come and kill us, but the memory of death of past lives makes the amygdala to have a threat response. That's its function. So you have to bypass amygdala. And hippocampus is the region where we have memories. So since amygdala lies below uh, the hippocampus. It's quite but natural that the threat response planning happens there. So for us, everything is threat. As example is, I'm late for office, it's a threat. What my boss says is a threat. Will I lose my job is a threat. Will I fight with my wife is a threat. If I can drive safely is a threat. So we have more threat planning than relaxation. Yep. What will my neighbor say? What will my family say? What this will say? What that will say? How this will work? How that will work? Consistently, we are bombarded with sensual data or sensory inputs. That means the out of 10, 12 nerves which we have, the vagus nerve is rarely used. We have 12 cranial nerves. Yesterday we were looking at it. Out of that, the 10th one is the most important one, which is vagus. Recent research has shown that it will remove anxiety disorders, ADHD, and many others, plus arthritis, rheumatoid arthritis, and many other associated symptoms, including handling Parkinson's disease to Alzheimer's disease, etc. Okay, now we are using some of science and medicine or neuroscience, and we are looking into Anapana Sati. That we know how it works, the way it works. So the first thing I need to know is how to breathe. It's not about taking a cushion and sitting there. No, that got nothing to do, because Buddha is the next line. He says, Dhigamba asasanto asasamiti pajanati. It's not about sitting and watching the breath. It's not that at all. You know, it's not seeing. Passati is to see. Pajanati is to know. It's totally different. We need to understand what we are doing and what Buddha says. I'm not um, commenting on the traditional techniques. It's good to learn, but that's not what Buddha says. That's got nothing to do with it. Let's say I'm using TMI. It's good. I don't know. Good. It gives you samatha, a little bit of tranquility. When compared to VRI's Vipassana, TMI is better. When compared to TMI and Vipassana, Vimala Ramsey's 6R method is far better. If I'll take between these three techniques as techniques, TMI stands to make you better than VRI. And Vimala Ramsey's 6R method can make it much, much, much better than these two techniques combined. Even if you combine, you can't beat Vimala Ramsey's own way, how he found after struggling with this Vipassanas of Burmese techniques. He got fed up with it after 20 years. He gave up. I think he did the right thing, because it doesn't work that way at all. It's constipating. It's not that everybody will constipate, but a majority of them constipate. Now we come to the section why you get constipated. Because there is stress. You're not relaxed. You are fighting with breath as though you have to accomplish something there. So, when the sensation arises in the body, what should you want to do with it? After putting so much of effort, you are getting some sensations. And if somebody tells you just ignore it, You lose dopamine. So serotonin goes down. So your mood swings. And then oxytocin, the secured, is gone. The endorphins doesn't fire. That means the neuroplasticity with creating the new neural networks are not there. Endorphins are not getting fired or released in the body to take care of the pain. You get more pain as opposed to relaxation. That's exactly what Vimala spoke in many of his videos. He even shows a skull, and he shows here that I was getting headache and heaviness because of the pressure. So he brought in 6R. Is far better. I know, believe me, these three are techniques. They're not what Buddha says, but it's required. Why Vihara is required? To get discipline. Why should I go for TMI? To understand the 10 stages, how the whole thing works. And why do I require Vimala Ramses? Because to relax. And what does Buddha say? It's a relaxation technique more than anything else. Anapana Sati, 16 steps, is complete relaxation and letting go. That is Nibbida, Viraga, Nirodha, etc. Right. So the last four steps, which is Anicca, Viraga, Nirodha, Patinisagga, these four steps are not part of the 12 steps, meaning this is the result. That is the 12 steps. 12 plus 4, 16. So what Sariputta did is to take 24 of them. It is 12 into 2, asa passa, into 3, which is anicca, dukkha, anatta. And that's a right process. To start from sotapanna onwards to arhat. You got the point. Supposing, not supposing, the four of us here, Chirag and you and Mrutyunjay and myself, let's say we are sotapanna and we're starting today. What should we do? Exactly follow what Buddha says in Maharavalo Sutta. You'll get arhat. That's it. Done. You don't have to be worried whether you're bhikkhu or no bhikkhu or you're this or that or whatever. You'll reach there. Now, why am I not getting it? Because I'm not breathing. Simple. I'm taking it as an assignment. No, it doesn't work. Now we come to how to breathe. Right? With this, we'll come to how to breathe. So, digamba asasanto, asasamiti pajanati. He knows. He doesn't see. It's not about seeing it is coming in the nostril or not. That's the first step. So satova asasati, satova pasasati. So you see, build mindfulness, awareness that breath is entering your nostril, but it is not part of your 16 steps. So what if I just try to look at the breath coming and going and coming and going and coming and going? What happens? You'll go to sleep. So what did TMI do? Chuladasa, he brought in peripheral awareness, which is right. Otherwise, you'll go to sleep because there's no activity. What do you expect mind to do? It doesn't have anything to do. And if I do an alpha, beta, theta, all of that tracking, I'm nowhere there. So if I use that headband, what do I get? Very bad score. The reason is I'm not watching the breath. I'm seeing the breath. I'm not knowing the breath. Pajanati is to know. That's the problem, right? Now I come to the sections. Chest breathing versus diaphragm breathing. So, in this, what happens? Just the breathing stays high. There's some effort. So, the moment somebody says, watch the breath, I put effort. Okay. Whereas in diaphragmatic breathing, the breath descends lower. Instead of just something in the chest, goes down. In the chest breathing, the shoulders may move. But in the case of diaphragmatic breathing, the shoulders stay relaxed. I'll demonstrate it and show to you. This is the chest breathing. If I am breathing properly, this never moves. And the breath is shallow because I'm putting pressure on watching the breath. Instead of knowing the breath, I'm seeing the breath. I'm supposed to watch, not see. When I see, there is effort. When there's effort, there is pain. When there is pain, you get heaviness in the head to brain fog because the breath is shallow. So what will happen? 1 hour looks a pain. Whereas in a relaxed way, if I'm looking at the abdomen, like Ari used to ask me, can I look at my tummy region? I said, yes. But I'm not able to do the nostril thing. Why? Because there is effort. So now if I close my eyes versus not closing the eyes, what does Buddha say about it? In Thinamida section, he says aloka sanya. Now, how do you get aloka sanya? There are two ways of getting it. Either through pineal gland activation or opening the eyes. Clear. Why this is happening? Because the mind is exhausted watching the breath. So if something more better comes, the mind will run away with that object. Then every book says that bring back the mind as though it has gone out shopping. Okay, in a language it looks good, but you can't bring back any mind from anywhere. It's a misunderstanding, I could say. Either you are in or you're out. There's nothing called I bring it back. Be it Chuladasa saying it, be it Vipassana teacher saying it, or even Vimala Ramsi doesn't use it. That's a good thing about Vimala Ramsi, that he doesn't use that. His technique is better than VRI and TMI for the reason that he says when a thought comes, be with the best thought, which is in line with what Buddha says on the Dveda Vitakka Sutta or the next sutta connected with it. VRI goes tangential to it. It is like gone into some other route. You're supposed to be in place A, you're gone to place Z. Not that I'm saying VRI thing is bad, but it doesn't satisfy the condition of Anapana at all. It doesn't meet that condition. It meets the condition of watching sensation. That's fair. But that's not what Buddha taught. Okay. Now, if I am in a shallow breathing space, it's going to be exhaustive to the body and to the mind. So my endorphin level dips, making it more painful. So if I kept 1 hour timer, my mind is waiting for that nice piece of music coming from Goenka's mouth. And I feel relaxed. Which it shouldn't have been at all. It should have been the most pleasurable activity ever done by me. It has turned itself into a most painful activity. Same thing with TMI. So then the question comes, should I drop both of them and go to Vimala Ramsi Siksa? That's another technique. But none of the three fulfills what Buddha is talking about. I'm not saying they're bad, but it doesn't satisfy the condition of what Buddha is talking to Rahula. Right? Now, in that case, what should I do? I should now learn how to breathe. Pajanati, to know. So I should look at whether it's a faster breathing cycle and bring it to a slower breathing cycle, whether it's more effort or no effort, more sympathetic or no sympathetic. And when I see that, udacha, restlessness goes away. Sympathetic response brings in restlessness. It's not about saying, okay, now I'm feeling restless, what to do? No, it's sympathetic. If I'm in sympathetic nervous system, it's going to be restless. Absolutely, because there is some flight and fight response to be done. Okay. So Vimala Ramsi squares far higher in this than VRI and TMI combined. They are nowhere there. Nowhere means it's like north south. So Vimala Ramsi's method is the best as far as samatha goes. Even TMI cannot match it. And far away is VRI in this. In fact, better is TMI than VRI. VRI doesn't give you anything except for sensations. Now, can I combine TMI and VRI and do it? You can. Nobody stops. But that doesn't lead anywhere. Because neither you are master in TMI nor you are a master in VRI. It makes no sense. So what would people do then? They go back to VRI because they are used to VRI, so they go back to VRI way of working and do this exactly the same experiment and getting the same result. And they think that's all what it is. No. If they had tried Vimala, it would have been much, 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 much better. But anyway, all the three fall short in front of Buddha. So what if I drop all of these three and come to Buddha? I don't want to now become a follower of Vimala 6R and start afresh and get confused. Because I tried TMI, I tried VRI, now I am trying out Vimala. No, I have to learn the art of breathing. That's all. That's the answer to it. Okay, so when a person like me is anxious, excited, upset, aggressive, worried, sexual, or mentally busy with some job or whatever it is, I don't feel the breathing. It would be fast, it would be shallow, it will be upper chest most of the time, it would be irregular. In the best interest of mind, exhalation is rarely seen. That means the exhalation is incomplete. Okay. Now, if I cut these hindrances, that's what Buddha says, vivicheva kamehi, vivicheva kusala dhammehi. So now I am removing the hindrances. Instead of fast, it becomes slow. Instead of shallow, it becomes deep, very soft, like a silk. Now, why do people, after doing TMI, VRI, go to sleep or blank state? It's an important question to ask. Even though Chuladasa talks about peripheral awareness, why it doesn't happen? Let's take VRI. I am pacing with time. This stress is cortisol. Done. Because norepinephrine, epinephrine, adrenaline, and many other neurotransmitters makes me alert, too much alert, because there's excitement. It works in retreat because I can't make that thing here. So I end up being in a retreat. So I get habituated, which is creating a new neural pathway, which becomes neural plasticity. That means neurons that fire together, wire together. Now what happens is I can't do anything without being in a retreat. So it's a drug addict. So what do? I keep on thinking, when will I book my next retreat? The longer, the better. So I go tangential. So in Vimaramsi, you hold on to the best thought and you will see that all the remaining are going away. So your breath watching becomes normal, no problem. So Vimaramsi squares off TMI by miles, VRI by God only knows how far. Okay. Because they both don't teach how to breathe. They look at watching the breath, but Buddha never spoke about watching the breath. So, what are you watching? It's to know the breath, not to watch the breath. So, what should I know? Is it slower or faster? No. Is it shallow or deep? Is it irregular or complete? Is it effortful or effortless? Is it unstable or stable? And with every out breath, are you feeling relaxed? You can try it out now. If you exhale slowly, you feel relaxed. Try. Anyway, you close your eyes, just relax with lengthening the exhalation. You invoke vagus nerve. Yes, Chirag, go ahead.
Yeah, so I was thinking about the purpose, right? The purpose of knowing the breath. And maybe it's something you have covered already, but to me, what it seems like is by knowing the breath, you know the state of your mind. So, it's basically helping develop sati sampajanya because if your breathing is shallow, you know that your mind is disturbed and you know what you need to do to go back to, let's say, parasympathetic system. So that's how I interpret what the purpose of knowing the breath is in the anapanasati.
Yes, that's the first step. Digamba asasanto asasami iti pajanati. I know I am breathing long. Right? And when I'm breathing long, it should have the following characteristics. It should be slower, it should be deeper with very soft, cool effect. Completed exhalation, no effort at all. And that gives instability. So let's say I fought with someone. I fought means it is fast breathing, shallow breathing, upper chest. There is a panting. It's irregular and no exhalation. So what happens then? Stress. So how do I cope stress? I will shout. That's the mechanism of flight and fight response. With another human being, I can't kill or do anything, but I will shout. Have you seen dogs fighting? Exactly the same method. Amount of cortisol it generates, it makes you rush. So the blood is rushing. So from somewhere like 10 to 12 breathing cycles a minute, I'm in my 40s and 50s breath a minute. And the heartbeat from something like if you're very cool, be in your 50s, which is athletic rather than tachycardia. But if you put a strap around him while he is shouting, I think Madhukar might agree with me, it will be beyond 110, 120. So he's fighting for breath. He's fighting for survival, basically. So he's put himself in a survival mode, which is hippocampus and amygdala. The prefrontal cortex, which is supposed to do decision making, in a very logical fashion, sleeps off because it's threat. So Anapanasati teaches us how to let go of stress completely. So Dhigamba asa santo asa samiti pajanati is that I know I am breathing long. How do you breathe long? Through abdomen. That region has a muscle which is diaphragm. Okay. And what does it do? It relaxes. So the chest becomes not stiff as though you're fighting. And then the question, why the head goes like this in most of the people is because awareness is gone. Why did the awareness go away? Because shallow breathing brings that. If you're breathing through abdomen, there's no way this will go like this. And you are not supposed to close your eyes. And that's the reason Buddha never says close your eyes. Never. In none of the suttas. But why do we close eyes? I have no idea of why we do it, what we do. We're habituated. It's not that you shouldn't close your eyes. You should, but not initially. And there is a scientific experiment which I wanted to talk about before I close for today, and tomorrow we can continue on this going deeper. They tried an experiment which is being done in many of the universities in Harvard and Stanford and many other, Germany and many other universities are doing it, is to call these meditators and see their EEG score and looking at how they're doing. Those people who perceive light, their alpha went up. Because that's what should happen. So what does Buddha say? Perceive light, alokasanya. Exactly what that neuroscientist is talking about. Then why do you close eyes? I don't know. My simple answer is I don't know. In no way Buddha proposes to close eyes. So then are we doing wrong thing? I don't call it a wrong thing. It's one thing, that's all. I don't want to comment it is wrong or right and then becomes a confusion in my mind. Oh, I did wrong thing. No, there's nothing called wrong. It's another technique which you are doing. It's fine. But as far as Buddha goes, there is no thing called as closed eyes. Now, can I not close eyes? Yes, you should. When? After half an hour or so. Because the more light you take or have an aloka sanya. Now you close your eyes and create an aloka sanya, which is you have to activate the pineal gland. And that's another thing to do. If you don't know how to activate the pineal gland, which is in the prefrontal cortex, now what else can be done? Because in many suttas, Buddha talks when it is night, make it day, like that. When it is dull, make it bright. How do you do it? It's good to read, but how? Now, one of the most effective method is partial closure of eyes, which is what is there in one sutta where Pokkachikka Chakku, where Sariputta says how to lower your eyes. It's there. Don't close fully, close 80% or 90% like this. Then you are on the breath and not getting sleep. There's a sutta for that. If the sutta is in the format of a gatha, that's the only problem. We'll take that up tomorrow, just to prove to you it is there. But nowhere it is Akhi is mentioned, Padhati, close eyes. So you shouldn't close eyes, no matter what happens. But don't see straight, see down. Now, can I use a counter? Yeah, you can use. You have gadgets now. Put a 20 minutes timer and then keep on watching it. Then close your eyes. And dare you try this out today. On Muse, put the band. If you don't have it now, no problem. When you go back to your home, try this stunt. You want to make it 100% calm. When it is calibrating, it does a 10-second calibration, right? So in the whole 10-second, open your eyes. It increases the alpha. And then close your, it makes the flattening of the alpha instead of any other. And then alpha is that wave, what we spoke about. Then after you close your eyes, it stabilizes. And then you'll be surprised to see you get 100% calm and 100%, if you're not shaking your body, you get 100% as your stillness. And basic thing I found out is active will show 0, relaxed will show 0, calm will show 100. All the time, not random. Okay, this beautiful one, what you gifted me, thank you. It has made my experiment more realistic in the alpha, beta, theta, gamma, and delta. And now I want to enter into jhanas. So gamma will start. Yes, go ahead.
Just kind of mention, I think what I found is that the calibration make too much difference in the later stages in the measuring. I don't know what the algorithm is, but basically what you do in the calibration, affects what you get later. So that's
Yes.
why I stopped pressing it so much.
It stabilizes. So what I have found is that if you are already in a meditative state, let's say I close my eyes and I do it, it gives you a low score because it is not able to see that you're already in that state. So you get less birds and you get more of these corrections.
Yeah, that's what I found. So
Yeah.
almost I have to make myself be, to not meditate in the first calibration phase.
Yes, instead of that, open your eyes and watch the breath. What Buddha says, you do it. You'll always score 100. And yesterday I did that. I showed it to them. That if I do what Buddha says, I get 100. If I do what anybody says, I get 10, 20s or 50s or whatever that is. So who is better? Buddha is better. So should I follow Vimala Ramsey method? No. Should I follow TMI method? No. Should I have to follow VRI? Never. Whom should I follow? Buddha. Because Vimala Ramsey is far better than the other two. If at all I want to use a technique, I would rather buy on Vimala Ramsey. Nobody else. I wouldn't go to this Burmese technique at all. It's a waste of time and waste of everything. But since I've started with VRI, I can't let go of it. Okay, keep on doing it. But I don't require all the three. I require only the Buddha technique. I don't want VRI, TMI, Vimara Ramsey, or anybody else. Because they're all products which are fair deal. But my working should be on Buddha because I'm following Buddha. I don't follow anybody else. And then what should I do is, I should see this. Digamba asasanto asasameti pajanati. So my breath is slower. It's very deep and softer. As it touches the abdomen, I feel relaxed. Exhalation is completed. Excitement is gone. No effort. Main thing, effortless. Buddha's technique is effortless. No effort, no strain, and continuous. Bahuli kata, habitual. Bhavita bahuli kata. Not about which cushion should I sit, or should I sit in Shunyagara or whatever that is. That is BS. What I want is peace. That's all. My 1 hour shouldn't go in a stressful mode that when this alarm is going to buzz or some cassette is going to come. I'm waiting for it. That means I'm already in cortisol. If I didn't know that, I'm already in alert mode. Alert mode means sympathetic. So what's the point? I wanted parasympathetic response, not a sympathetic response. But the anticipation that I have to do 1 hour sitting is itself a stress. Why? It's just it should be so peaceful. It doesn't matter whether it's 1 hour or 10 hours or 20 hours. It shouldn't matter me at all. Because I can be in the breath knowing the breath all the time. And there is nothing to watch also. It's knowing. Now coming to the next section, we can do another 5 minutes. So why it is important in Anapana Sati? Because asapassa is a kaya sankhara. Like in MN44, it is kaya sankhara. So the 3 sankharas, kaya sankhara, vachi sankhara, mano sankhara. Kaya sankhara, if I talk about, before that I should let go of vitakka vichara. So the deliberation and pondering should stop. To stop it, I have to necessarily alter the state of consciousness through vagus nerve activation. So I have to have a parasympathetic response. Otherwise, it is not going to work. And then Kaya Sankhara has to be stopped. So what does it say in MN 43 and 44? The breath should stop. And Buddha tells that in many suttas. The stopping of breath. In the things what we have done, has ever been the breath stopped? No. Now, Wim Hof, I think you've heard of him. Okay. He teaches ice cold water immersion where the breath will stop. You don't have to go into the ice cold water to get that. If you take Bhastrika Pranayama and Kumbhaka, it does exactly the same thing. You exhale and stop. That invokes parasympathetic response. So the vagus nerve will get activated. So you don't require the breath any longer. Now you're on energy body. So now your body is completely immune to external environment. Okay. If you follow Wim Hof, a lot of videos are there on Wim Hof. You'll be shocked how he can get into ice cold ice. He's swimming under ice, where a person freezes and dies. And there are many yogis in the Himalayan region who don't wear anything. They don't feel cold. How is this possible? Quite possible. Invoke your vagus nerve. It is possible. And what are you doing here? Exactly doing the same thing. It invokes nadis. Kundalini, heard about that? Yeah, it's again part of the same thing. So shouldn't you then practice like that? You should, because asapasa has to stop. And the third sankhara, sanya and vedana, will stop, which is nirodha samapatti. Done. So isn't there a step-by-step process to achieve this feat? Yes, there is. But only difference is it should be bhavita bahulikata. Make that as an habit. Be on that all the time. So how should you breathe? Exhale completely. If you don't believe me, now that you have ChatGPT, just give this. How is it important to have abdominal breathing? And can you connect that with Anapanasati? It's a beautiful one, it writes. I was so glad that all of these years, whatever I have been talking, now the ChatGPT says exactly the same. So I was saying why Buddha talks about the four postures. Now we have an answer. It's not sitting, it is walking. In fact, in MN20, it says that walk. Iriyapata, the first one is walking, chankama. The next one, why? What does it do? It invokes parasympathetic nervous system, bugger. Don't sit. It'll get into sympathetic, parasympathetic. You want vagus nerve stimulation? Sports is the best thing. That's the reason you feel runner's high. Why do you take adventure sports like bungee jumping, etc., Because it invokes parasympathetic. And why do you trek? Parasympathetic. Why do you go to gym? Parasympathetic. Why do you run? Parasympathetic. By giving stress to the body, you invoke the other side of the equation, which is parasympathetic. So sympathetic, parasympathetic will start to function, which then opens up vagus nerve. So you feel high. So when somebody treks up and he goes on the top, he feels accelerating because he's in jhana. Maybe he didn't know that he's in second jhana. So what does he expect? He wants to trek again. And why do people go on the Everest base camp or even climb the Everest? Why? It invokes parasympathetic response. When you take risk of climbing, the parasympathetic nervous system takes over. So you get more endorphins. So your pain is removed. So to that extent, your pain is gone. I had seen Chirag with a snow bike in Alaska. So why did he do it? It's fun, yes, but he's invoked parasympathetic response. Maybe he didn't know it. So the thrill of driving is that you get parasympathetic. Driving in Bangalore roads is sympathetic. You're always in fear. So when you are out of the car, you're stressed out. You're lucky to be alive. But driving in the US is better because you're relaxed. Watch this fun. Yes, Harry.
I'm wondering how's the thrill of adventure different from the fear of stress of not making mistakes? How are they different? Because thrill sounds to me that there's some nervous factors in it too.
In both of them, yes, but they balance out. So you get a shock. Like tomorrow morning, you do one thing, which I've been doing for a long time now. When it is cold outside, don't take hot water bath. Take a cold shower. You can see how it relaxes. Initially, it's painful, but that creates a reflexive reaction to relax the whole body. You will start liking cold water. Before jogging or before running, let's say you want to join a marathon, take this example. You are in stress, but as you start running, the stress keeps on diminishing and you feel motivated more and more to run because dopamine, serotonin, oxytocin, endorphins keeps on pumping more and more, more and more. So you feel, I want to run, I want to do this. That's exact thing what Buddha talks about as usoli. The many suttas where he said, bring utsaha, excitement. And chanda just does that. If you didn't know that, hence it's a mulaka. And it's also iddhipada. So we need to know why why we are doing certain things. It doesn't matter, but we should know. Right? So, yes.
No, I was just thinking this morning, because we're next to a lake and they have a lot of these tourism thing, and there's a motorbike. I never rode a motorbike, so it's exciting for me and it become interesting. So I think
Yes, because it's fun. When you say it's fun, it takes you pity. It gives you pity, joy. And when there is joy, you're on parasympathetic nervous system as opposed to sympathetic nervous system. So you feel, wow.
Yeah, while I was having fun, Luke was sitting back and he was so nervous and he was suffered a lot. Dad, be careful, be careful. He didn't have
Right,
fun.
because he's on a sympathetic drive. He's on sympathetic drive. He's fearing. But you just try this experiment. Morning or when it is cold, put cold water. Take cold shower. You see the fun. The moment it hits your head region, that water, and yes, there's a difference between consciously choosing and an unconscious response. That's true. So when it hits, the water hits top, feel shaken up, which is just like what you do with the bungee jumping. Okay, you first plan for the bungee jumping. You consciously want to do the bungee jumping. And then when you let go of everything, there's a breath stopping, which is what Buddha is saying in that your kaya sankhara should stop. The breath will stop. You become breathless but alive. The parasympathetic nervous system takes over, which is vagus activation. So you feel, wow. That's a wow effect. But the next time you do the bungee jumping, you will not get it. Why? Because there's no activation of vagus nerve.
Is it because there's no throw anymore?
No thrill anymore. It's already eaten. Okay, so we don't know how to breathe. That's the conclusion. Yes, go ahead.
Does the cold shower thing work repeatedly versus the bungee jumping?
Yes,
Let's say evening.
cold shower and bungee jumping exactly does the same.
Okay, but does a cold shower every day give you the same activation?
Yes, it does, because you don't know how cold is cold. Whereas in bungee jumping, it is already memorized. Because you'll be doing the same thing. The next jump is same. Just like I go on a roller coaster ride. The first roller coaster ride is thrill. The second one is not thrilling. It just looks normal.
Okay, but with the cold water, there's always you don't know what you're gonna be hit with. So.
Exactly. So that's the reason every time there's a activation of vagus nerve. Because you can't predict how cold is cold.
We'll try today.
Please have fun and you'll see a change. You'll be so relaxed after doing that. You feel, wow, feel so energized because it's on Vegas. Instead of Las Vegas, you're having Vegas now. Yeah, go ahead.
I used to do it for a couple months, and I think it's a good experience. But I didn't know why. But you said if it's warm outside, it doesn't work. Only if it's cold outside. Is it so?
No. If it is warm outside, you don't get that much of thrill. If it is cold outside, like now in Bangalore, it is cold. And if my wife and son, everyone takes hot water bath. If I put cold water, cold shower, because the weather is cool, it makes it even more better to invoke. But if
Okay, so you don't.
Yeah, go
So
ahead.
you don't mean it's noon. It doesn't work as well. It's evening. It's cooler. It's better. Is that?
Yes.
Is that or even? No,
it should be cool outside, and then you feel like having warm water bath. Right? Generally, you would expect to take a warm water. Instead of that, you put a cold water, and it just shakes you up. And when it shakes you up, it invokes parasympathetic.
Yeah, I guess if it's hot outside, then you anyways would prefer cool water or cold water. It's not as good.
Yes.
But in this case,
the anticipation is you don't want to use cold water because it's cold outside already. So you want warm. You want to warm yourself up. But when you warm yourself up, you're on a stress response rather than stress removal. It's really crazy, but yes, you can read a lot of white papers on why should you take cold water bath and vagus nerve activation. You'll get to see. Yes.
and I guess when you do the cold water, you should just try to relax into it rather than trying to fight it.
The first one you'll be shaking, it's fine, and it'll automatically relaxes. So you just have to be aware what's happening. It's not that you should be uncomfortable or unconscious of what's happening. You have to use the conscious experience. You should be in sati. The so sato vasa sati. Like that, you should be in conscious experience. You should know when the water falls on you, you feel, then suddenly just relaxes.
Thank you.
The same method is electric shocking. You shock certain part of the body to relax. The muscles gets relaxed if you put electric shock and suddenly it relaxes. So the pain goes away from there. That's another therapy if you didn't know that. It's there in China as well.
Is that something they use to treat some psycho diseases? Is to use that to help them relax?
Yeah. Because it comes into the parasympathetic rather than sympathetic.
Got it.
Knowing science is so good, right? Rather than imagining something.
Definitely.
Okay, anyway, thanks for your muse thing. It's really done a wonderful job for me in looking at how things are. And Madhulika has brought Muse Athena, which I'll be bringing to the US, and we can try out that stuff as well. I should be getting it today when she's here, so plan it out tomorrow. I'll show you how the test has been.
Nice. Enjoy.
Should we end then? No other questions from the other 15 others who are sitting there and watching the fun? I don't know what they understood or misunderstood. Fine. From Bobby to Archana to Chanda to Devyani to SK Rai to Kavita to me to everyone. I don't know. All are in deep samadhi. So, how should you breathe is the starting point. Then you feel interested in doing it. And then you can do 18 hours. So, we'll do Anapanasati practically. Try it out. Out breath for the whole day. Try out. Out breath slow. If you're just sitting, don't pull your breath too fast. Just breathe slowly. Relax. Bye. Relax and relax until the stomach becomes, you feel release of something. Then again, after doing it for an hour or so, you're literally on vagus nerve. And the whole thing changes. You feel so comfortable. The noise disappears, meaning there is noise outside. You don't feel any more noise. And the body pain disappears. In fact, they have also found now recent studies, 2023 paper and 2025 paper, which I was reading. It talks about removing of inflammation, the body, like which is a cause for diabetes and hypertension, etc. Through Anapanasati. You don't require a doctor, provided you're on vagus nerve. So how important is this cranial nerve for all of us? I think Madhukar can speak for hours together on cranial nerves. I have taken his job of explaining. But anyway, we should do that. Yes, Madhukar.
Yours is a super specialty job. I'm just doing a specialty job. I just
Still,
dissect and cut it out and throw it out. You dissect and you make it realize.
yeah. So now I'm getting, and I have a competitor now. My son is also joined neuroscience, so we both are having a very good discussion. Now our relationship is too good. Two scientists trying to look at the same thing, brain mapping, brain topology, how this works, how that works. It's nice to see my son also taking the same thing, as I loved this subject for long. Now this is something it's happening. And since I don't agree with rituals or just following just because Buddha said so or that said so, I need a proof how it works. I can't relax without, or I can't take something just at the face value. There might be people who take the face value, but I don't take. I want to test it out, try it, should work. Then there is faith, saddha. Otherwise, there is no saddha. They're just believing it to be true. So, whatever Buddha talks is exactly measurable. You can really try it. it works. It doesn't matter what you wear, dress, or whatever it is, what religion, what tradition, what you do. That's immaterial. You can be a scientist of your own mind and remove from the pain of samsara. That doesn't mean that you should let go of your family and go somewhere. Let go of the family in the mind. That's it. Anyway, we'll take the next part tomorrow on how to do the second one, rasa. We only spoke about the dhiga. We come to rasa. Then we come to passambayankaya sankhara. And then we come to then we come to sabbakaya patisamvedi. Then we come to the passambayankaya sankhara. Then we see the piti, sukha, all of that. We'll do step by step, each one of them. And by the time we complete, you should have finished all 16 steps. Okay, all right. Good day and good afternoon, good night, and whatever state and place you are in. Bye-bye.